This is what's pissing me off today. I'm Bob Pritchard. Well, as you've probably heard by now, the Ford government is planning on introducing legislation which will effectively ban photo radar across the province. And the reason that he's doing this, in his words, is because municipalities have turned this into a massive cash grab. Well, last week there was a letter that was sent to the Premier from 20 mayors, and what they said essentially is that the photo radar was in fact saving lives. Now, nobody knows whether that's right or wrong at this point. They point to a report that says that when people slow down, the odds of somebody being more seriously injured is reduced. And of course, that would ultimately translate to fewer accidents in areas that have photo radar. Well, they don't actually talk in the reports at this stage about how many people's lives or injuries were prevented as a result of those cameras. Anyway, the point of my rant today is more to do with the letter that the mayor sent to the Premier rather than anything else. And essentially what the letter said was, we know we are ripping off our constituents and we'd like to apologize and promise to do a better job, and we'll only, send out tickets to people when they are speeding in zones when kids are actually in school. We will not give them, tickets for little bits of speed over the limit. They'll give you tickets only when you go more than 10 kilometers over the limit. So that all sounds fine and dandy, and there's probably some loopholes in there somewhere, but it leaves a huge number of questions. First of all, if you as a human being really mess up and do something incredibly stupid, what are the odds that if you just phone the people you offended and say, oh, look, it was just a misunderstanding. Next time I promise not to be, such an idiot. So could you just reverse whatever it is you did to me? Not a chance, never going to happen. So why would the mayors think this is going to happen? I would think that photo radar is probably a good idea in school zones, providing it's running from the time the kids are in school, something like 7 a.m. till 5 p.m., something in that range, that they don't give out tickets unless you're doing much more than the posted speed limit, maybe 10 over rather than 5 or 2 kilometers over, and that they send you out some warnings. And they also deal with that other big problem with photo radar, in that the timeline between being nabbed by the camera and you finding out about it can be up to a month. In that time, you can go through that same area multiple times and get multiple tickets, which several people in Stouffville have already found out. So, at the end of the discussion, as it turns out, the mayors are backing down on the cameras. People got screwed by them in this. And with next year's elections coming up, municipal elections, I think people should be asking every municipality about why they did what they did, because they think sometimes they forget that the money they spend is our money. They don't have any God-given right. It's not a birthright to be able to take more money from the population and spend it. That money belongs to the citizens, not the government. And that's what's pissing me off today. I'm Bob Pritchard.